This story explores how the Japanese approach solving problems not by force, but through calm awareness and inner balance. Through quiet temples, misty forests, and gentle wisdom, you'll learn how stress fades and clarity naturally appears. This journey is not only designed to help you sleep, but to teach a calmer, stronger way of facing life. If there's a topic you'd like to hear next, write it in the comments, and I'll turn it into a story for you. The path where problems dissolve. Opening. Close your eyes now. Let your breathing soften. Feel the weight of the day releasing from your shoulders, from your jaw, from the space between your eyebrows. Let it all fall away like leaves from an autumn tree. Tonight you walk an ancient path, not through struggle but through understanding, not through force but through flow. In a land where mountains breathe mist and temples hold centuries of quiet knowing, problems do not need solving. They dissolve, like snow in warm water, like clouds at dawn, like worry in the presence of wisdom. This is not a story that demands your attention. It is a story that invites your surrender. You need not remember every word. You need only listen. Let the images carry you. Let the gentle rhythm of the telling rock you into deeper and deeper peace. You are a traveler now, walking through villages older than memory, through valleys where time moves differently, where people have learned the art of softening, of letting problems become teachers instead of burdens, of understanding that the heaviest stones become light when you stop trying to carry them alone. The wise have always known this, that struggle creates resistance, that resistance creates suffering, that suffering dissolves when the mind learns to soften, when the heart learns to trust, when the body learns to rest. Tonight you will walk beside monks and craftsmen, farmers and poets, elders who have seen centuries of problems come and go like seasons. You will learn what they know, not through books, not through lectures, but through the simple act of witnessing, of being present, of letting ancient wisdom seep into you like rain into thirsty ground. Come, the path begins, soft beneath your feet, winding through mist, leading you exactly where you need to go. Take a deep breath, release it slowly, let the journey unfold. The journey, the first village. You arrive at dusk. The sky is the color of persimmons, orange fading to purple, the first stars beginning to emerge like shy children. The village sits in a valley where bamboo grows thick and tall. Paper lanterns glow orange along the earthen path, their light soft, wavering, gentle against the gathering dark. Somewhere a wind chime sounds, 3 notes, again and again, a song without beginning or end. An old woman sweeps her doorstep, back and forth, the same small movement she has made for 50 years, perhaps longer. Her movements are neither fast nor slow. They simply are, like breathing, like waves on a shore. You stop walking, watch her sweep. There is something mesmerizing about it. The repetition, the care, the complete attention she gives to this one simple task. She notices you standing there, looks up. Her face is lined with years, with laughter, with quiet satisfaction. She smiles, a smile like warm tea on a cold morning. Then she returns to her sweeping. The sound of the broom is rhythmic, soothing. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Why do you sweep the same step every day? You ask. Your voice is quieter than you intended. The village demands softness. She rests the broom against the wall, takes a breath. I do not sweep the whole village, she says. That would be impossible, overwhelming. I would never begin. I would look at all those steps, all those paths, all those doorways, and I would sit down defeated before I even started. She gestures to the step beneath her feet. Only this step, only today. Today, I sweep it a little better than yesterday. Not much, not perfectly, just a little. Tomorrow I will sweep it a little better than today. And the day after, a little better still. You look at the step. It is worn smooth from decades of sweeping, but it is immaculate, cared for, loved, even. Small things, she says, picking up her broom again. Done with care, done consistently, they add up to mountains. Not in a day, not in a week, But over time, they become something magnificent. People look for grand solutions, quick fixes. They want to solve everything at once. But the secret is this: solve one thing today, then one thing tomorrow. Let the days stack like stones in a wall. Before you know it, you have built something that will stand for generations. She begins sweeping again. You watch a moment longer. The simple motion, the complete presence. You nod, walk on. The lesson settles in your chest like warm tea, heavy and comforting, real. Tomorrow does not need perfecting. Only today needs one small step forward. Just one. That is all. That is enough. The bridge of stillness. The path leads to a wooden bridge, weathered, ancient. The wood is silver gray from decades of rain and sun, spanning a stream that whispers over stones. The water is clear, so clear you can see every pebble on the bottom, every piece of green weed swaying in the current. Fish the color of shadows dart between rocks. The sound of the water is eternal, always speaking, never repeating. You start to cross. Your footsteps sound hollow on the old planks. Each one creaks softly, a familiar sound, like the sighing of old houses, like the settling of bones. Halfway across, you stop. A monk sits at the far end, cross-legged, back straight, completely still, eyes closed. His robes are the brown of tree bark. His face is smooth, peaceful, beyond age. Morning mist rises around him like breath made visible, like the earth itself exhaling. You wait. Do not disturb him. It feels wrong to speak, to interrupt whatever deep place he has gone. So you simply stand, watch the mist, listen to the water, feel the bridge beneath your feet, solid, enduring. An hour passes, maybe two, maybe more. Time feels different here, elastic, unimportant. Your mind, usually so busy, begins to quiet. There is nothing to do but wait. And in waiting, there is a strange kind of rest. The sun rises higher. The mist begins to thin, fade, disappear into ordinary morning light. Finally, the monk opens his eyes. Slow, deliberate, like someone surfacing from deep water. He sees you, blinks, smiles. A smile of complete acceptance, of unsurprise, as if he knew you would be there. I have made so many mistakes, you confess. The words tumble out before you can stop them. You don't know why you say it, but the presence of this man draws truth from you, like water from a well. He nods, slowly. Yes, mistakes are inevitable. They are part of learning, part of being human, but only if we sit with them, only if we look at them honestly, without blame, without shame. We must ask, what did this mistake come to show me? He unfolds his legs, stands, joints creaking softly. He walks to the railing, gestures down to the stream below. See how the water flows around the stones? It does not curse them, does not wish they were not there. It simply learns their shape, adjusts its path, continues flowing. This is wisdom. You lean over the railing, watch the water move. It is hypnotic. The way it divides around obstacles, reunites on the other side, never stopping, never stuck, always finding its way forward. Each evening, the monk says, his voice like wind through pine needles, I sit in meditation, and I ask myself, what did today teach me? Not to punish myself, not to dwell in regret, but to understand. Understanding is how we stop repeating what no longer serves us. Understanding is how mistakes become teachers instead of tormentors. He places a hand on your shoulder, gently, for just a moment. The water does not carry the stones with it. It learns from them, then continues. You must do the same. Reflect, learn, release, move forward. He bows, deep and formal, then continues across the bridge. His footsteps fade, disappear into the forest beyond. You remain a while longer, watching water, learning from stones, feeling something inside you soften, some burden you have been carrying, some self-judgment you have been clutching, beginning to release, beginning to flow downstream. The bridge creaks in the wind. The water speaks its endless language, and you understand something you could not have put into words, only felt, deep in the marrow of your being. Mistakes are not enemies. They are stones in the stream, here to teach the water how to flow. The potter's house. Smoke rises from a chimney, thin, gray, curling into the afternoon sky. You follow it through a grove of maple trees. Their leaves are turning red, crimson and rust. They glow in the slanting light like paper lanterns. The path is carpeted with fallen leaves. They rustle beneath your feet, dry, whispering secrets to each other. You come to a small house, wooden, simple, weathered to silver gray. Smoke rises from its chimney. The door is open. Inside, you hear a rhythm, the steady turning of a wheel, the wet sound of clay being shaped. You approach, stand in the doorway, not wanting to intrude. An elderly potter sits at his wheel. His hands move with absolute certainty. No hesitation, no second-guessing. They know exactly where to press, where to lift, where to smooth. The clay rises beneath his fingers, obedient, trusting, becoming what it was always meant to become. How long have you practiced? You ask, quietly, not wanting to break his concentration. 63 years, he says, not stopping, not looking up. His eyes are on the clay, only the clay. Everything else has fallen away. There is no room, no potter, no wheel, only the act of shaping, only the moment of becoming. You step inside, careful, respectful. The room smells of earth and water, of minerals and time. Shelves line the walls, covered with bowls, cups, vases, each one different, each one perfect in its own way. You watch the bowl grow beneath his fingers, perfect, symmetrical, beautiful. The curve of it is like the curve of a bird's wing, natural, inevitable, right? But I still practice, he says. His voice is soft, worn smooth like river stones. Every day, every single day, because there is something I live for, something that makes waking up worthwhile, that makes the ache in these old joints bearable, that makes every sunrise a gift. He lifts the bowl, slow, reverent, sets it aside to dry, begins preparing another piece of clay, kneading it, working the air bubbles out, patient, thorough. For me, it is this, the feeling of clay remembering its shape through my hands, the moment when the clay and I are no longer separate, when I am not making a bowl, I am simply being, and the bowl appears. This gives my life meaning, purpose, direction. He centers the new clay on the wheel, begins again, his hands moving into the familiar dance, a dance he has danced 10,000 times, but each time the first time. Many people, he says, his eyes half closed now, lost in the feeling of wet clay, solve their problems by running from them. They move from job to job, relationship to relationship, city to city, always thinking the next place will be better, the next situation will be easier. But they forget to ask the most important question. What do I actually care about? What makes my heart feel purposeful? What would I do even if no one paid me? Even if no one applauded? He shapes the rim, thin, even, elegant. When you know this, problems become lighter, much lighter, because you know which ones matter, which ones are in service of your purpose, and which ones are just distractions, noise, things that seem urgent but are not actually important. He finishes the bowl, sits back, wipes his hands on a cloth, finally looks at you. His eyes are deep, calm, the eyes of someone who has found what they were looking for. Find what you live for, he says. Then let that be your compass. Not every problem deserves your energy. Not every worry deserves your attention. But the ones connected to your purpose, those are worth carrying. Those are not burdens. They are privileges. He starts another bowl. You sit on a wooden stool. Watch. Let the rhythm of the wheel settle into your bones. The steady turning, the patient shaping, the complete presence. Time passes. You're not sure how much. It doesn't matter. You are learning something without words. Something deeper than words. About purpose. about meaning, about how to know what matters. When you finally stand to leave, you bow deeply. He nods, keeps working, the wheel keeps turning, the clay keeps rising, and you understand, this is what a life of purpose looks like. Simple, focused, content. Purpose is not found in having no problems. It is found in knowing which problems are worth carrying, which struggles are in service of something larger, something that makes the carrying worthwhile. The mountain path. You climb. The path is steep, narrow, carved into the mountainside by 10,000 footsteps before yours, perhaps 100,000. The stone is worn smooth in places, rough in others. Tree roots cross the path like veins, like the mountain's arteries exposed to air and light. Your legs ache, your breath comes hard, ragged. Each step feels heavier than the last. Sweat runs down your back, your chest. The altitude makes the air thin, makes breathing work. You want to stop, want to turn back. This is too hard, you think. Too steep, too much. But you continue. One step, then another, because this is what travelers do. They continue. At a shrine halfway up, you finally stop to rest. The shrine is small, stone, covered in moss. A wooden roof, weathered gray. A stone fox guards the entrance. Its eyes are knowing, patient. It has watched countless climbers struggle up this path, has seen them arrive exhausted, has seen them find their strength and continue. A traveling merchant sits on a stone bench, eating rice from a wooden bowl, each bite deliberate, grateful. He sees you, nods, gestures to the space beside him. You sit, grateful for the rest, your legs trembling slightly, your breath still catching. He offers you water from a gourd. You drink. It is cold, pure, mountain water, tastes like stones and sky. First time climbing? He asks. His voice is rough, kind, the voice of someone who has seen much road. You nod, too tired to speak. I have climbed this mountain 300 times, he says, eating another bite of rice, chewing slowly, maybe more. I have lost count. The first 100 times I tried to invent new paths, faster routes, shortcuts. I was young, impatient. I thought I knew better than the centuries of people who had walked before me. He sets down his bowl, looks at the path ahead. I fell, many times, twisted my ankle, bloodied my hands, got lost in the forest and had to spend a night under the stars, hoping the wolves would leave me alone. I injured myself trying to climb straight up instead of following the switchbacks. Stubborn, foolish. You look at the path. It does wind back and forth. Gentle switchbacks, making the steep climb manageable. Whoever carved this path understood the mountain, understood human limits, understood that the quickest way is not always the shortest. Then an old guide told me something. The merchant continues. He said, first, learn the traditional way perfectly. Follow it exactly. Don't add your own ideas yet. Don't get creative yet. Just follow, step by step. Learn every rock, every route, every turn. Understand why each step exists, why the path was cut this way and not another. There is wisdom in tradition. It may seem slow, but it was built on countless mistakes, countless lessons. It is slow because it is sure. He picks up his bowl again, finishes his rice. Only after you have mastered the form can you begin to adapt it. Only after you have walked it 100 times can you start to make it your own, to add your improvements, to find your own rhythm. And only after you have adapted it can you transcend it entirely and walk your own path with confidence. Because then you understand the principles, not just the rules. He points up the mountain, the path disappearing into mist. Now I know this path so well, I could walk it blindfolded. In the dark, in a storm, my feet know where to step. My body knows when to lean, when to pause, when to push. But I earned that knowing by first walking it with humility, by accepting that others before me had wisdom to share. He stands, stretches, prepares to continue his journey. Do not rush mastery. Do not skip the fundamentals. They seem boring, restrictive, but they are the foundation. Skip them and everything you build will be shaky, will collapse when tested. Learn the old ways first, master them, then and only then create something new. He bows, walks on, his steps sure, confident, efficient, the steps of someone who has learned the mountain's language. You finish resting, stand, your legs still ache, but something has shifted. You are not trying to conquer the mountain anymore. You are trying to learn from it, to understand its rhythms, its rules. You continue climbing, following the path. Each step now feels like learning, not rushing, not skipping ahead, not looking for shortcuts, just walking the path that has been walked before, trusting the wisdom of those who carved it, who knew what they were doing. The mountain teaches patience, teaches humility, teaches that mastery is earned one step at a time, one repetition at a time, one humble attempt at a time, and slowly, slowly the path becomes easier, not because the mountain has changed, but because you have learned its ways, accepted its terms, stopped fighting, started flowing. This is the path to mastery, not genius, not shortcuts, just patient, humble repetition, just trust in the old ways, just willingness to learn before you innovate, to follow before you lead, to master before you transcend. The Council of Elders. The village at the mountain's peak is small. 7 houses, 1 temple, a stone well in the center. You arrive during a gathering. The elders sit in a circle under a persimmon tree. They speak softly, one at a time. They listen more than they talk. A young man stands nearby, anxious, shifting his weight. An elder waves you closer. Sit, she says. You sit beside the young man. He wants to expand the well, the elder explains. Thinks it too small. He has many ideas, all very loud. The young man looks embarrassed. We do not silence ideas here, another elder says, but we also do not rush them. We plant them quietly first. We speak to each person individually. We water the idea with conversation. We let it grow roots before we announce it. The first elder nods. By the time we gather like this, everyone has already thought about the idea, turned it over, considered it. The decision is not forced. It emerges, like fruit from a branch that was ready. The young man relaxes, sits down. Slow agreement, the elder says, lasts longer than fast excitement. You think about all the times you forced solutions too quickly, how they crumbled. Here, in this circle, you learn the power of preparation. The tea house, down a different path, through cedar trees, you find a tea house, simple, elegant, 3 walls and an open side facing a garden. A woman prepares tea. She moves without hurry, every gesture deliberate, yet there is so much space between her movements. She pours, pauses, breathes, sets the pot down, pauses again. You seem troubled, she says, though you have not spoken. You nod. I have many things to do, many problems waiting. She hands you tea. Drink slowly. You sip. It is perfect, warm, bitter and sweet. Notice the space between my movements, she says. The pause is not emptiness. It is where clarity lives. When we rush from action to action, we carry the chaos forward. When we pause even briefly, the mind settles. The next action becomes clearer. She pours her own cup, sits. In the West, they fear silence, she says. Here, we know silence is the foundation, not absence of sound, but presence of attention. Space between the notes is what makes music beautiful. You drink your tea, feel the pause between swallows. Your problems are still there, but they feel less urgent, less sharp. Space, you realize, is a kind of solution. The broken bowl. In the next village, you see a bowl in a window. It has been shattered, then repaired, but the cracks are filled with gold. They shine. They do not hide. You enter the shop. An old man sits behind the counter. Why not replace it? You ask, pointing to the bowl. He smiles, lifts it carefully. This bowl is more valuable now than when it was whole. You don't understand. My grandmother made it, he says. When I was young, I dropped it. I thought I had destroyed something precious. My grandfather found me crying. He said, "Nothing is truly destroyed. Everything can be transformed." He traces the golden cracks with his finger. He taught me to mend it this way, to honor the break, to make the repair part of the story. Now, when I see this bowl, I do not see my mistake. I see the beauty that came after. He sets it back in the window. Your life will break sometimes, he says. Your plans, your heart, your certainty. This is not the end. This is where gold enters. You leave the shop differently than you entered. Imperfection, you think, is not a problem to hide. It is a truth to honor. The rice fields. Outside the village, farmers work the rice fields. It is hard labor, bent backs, muddy water, hour after hour under the hot sun. You watch a young farmer. He does not stop, does not complain. His face is calm. Is it not exhausting? You ask. He straightens, wipes his brow. Yes, very exhausting. But you seem at peace. He nods. Because I am not waiting for it to be easy. I am doing what needs doing. There is a word we have. It means to persist quietly, not with drama, not with complaint, just with steady hands and steady heart. He kneels back into the mud, continues planting. People think peace comes when problems end, he says. But problems never end. Peace comes when you stop resisting the work, when you settle into it, like roots into soil. You sit on the edge of the field. Watch the farmers move in rhythm. They are not fighting their work. They are becoming it. Later, walking away, you feel something shift. Perhaps effort does not need to feel like battle. Perhaps it can feel like belonging. The archer's grove. In a grove of pine trees, you find an archer. She stands before a target, draws her bow, releases. The arrow flies, lands perfectly in the center. She draws again, releases, again perfect. You approach. You never miss. She lowers the bow. I miss often, but not now. Why not now? She looks at you. Her eyes are calm, empty of thought. Because I am not trying, she says. When I was learning, I thought constantly, worried about my form, about the wind, about failing. My mind was so loud. My body could not act clearly. She knocks another arrow. Now I have practiced so much, my body knows what to do. I do not think. I do not try. I simply draw. Release. The arrow goes where it must. She releases. Again, the center. When the mind is quiet, she says, action becomes pure. Problems often come from too much thinking, from the noise inside that drowns out knowing. She hands you the bow. Try. You try to think less. Feel more. The arrow flies. Not perfect, but truer than you expected. Yes, she says. Like that. You hand back the bow. Walk on. Your mind feels quieter already. The cherry blossoms. The path leads through an orchard. Cherry trees in full bloom. Petals fall like snow, pink and white, covering the ground in softness. An old poet sits beneath a tree, writing with a brush. They are so beautiful, you say, but they will be gone soon. He does not look up. Yes, that is why they are beautiful. You sit beside him, watch the petals fall. In 3 days, he says, these blossoms will be gone. The tree will be green. Then the leaves will fall. Then winter will come. Then the tree will be bare. Then spring will return. Then the blossoms will bloom again. And I will sit here, watching them fall. He sets down his brush. People suffer because they want to hold things still. They want beauty to last, success to stay, comfort to remain. But everything is always falling, always changing. The suffering comes from grasping. Petal lands on your hand. You watch it. Let it blow away. When you understand this, he says, problems become less heavy, because you know this too will pass. The good and the bad, all of it passing, like blossoms in the wind. You close your eyes. Feel the truth of impermanence. It is not sad. It is gentle, liberating. The forest path. You walk alone now. through forest where light falls in shafts through the canopy. Moss grows thick on stones. The air smells of cedar and earth. There is no destination, just walking. You notice your breath slowing, your thoughts settling. Something about the trees, the green silence, the way everything grows without hurry. An hour passes, maybe more. You realize you have not thought about your problems once. A shrine appears, small, moss-covered. You stop, light a stick of incense. The smoke rises, curls, disappears, and you understand. This is medicine too, not the shrine, the walking, the trees, the forest breathing around you. Some problems are not solved by thinking harder. They are solved by stepping away, by letting nature remind your body what calm feels like. You sit, back against a cedar tree, feel your spine settling, your jaw unclenching. The forest asks nothing of you, expects nothing, just holds you in green silence. When you finally stand, you are lighter. The problems are still there, but you are more yourself. The weaving room. In the next village, you hear the sound of a loom. You follow it to a small house. A woman weaves at a wooden loom, threads passing over and under, creating pattern, creating cloth. "May I watch?" you ask. She nods, does not stop weaving. You notice the threads. Some are torn, some are knotted, some are slightly wrong colors. But she uses them all. Nothing is wasted. "That thread is damaged," you say, pointing. She glances at it, keeps weaving. "Yes, but it still has use. To throw it away would be wasteful, disrespectful." She works the damaged thread into the pattern. It becomes part of the design. You cannot tell it was ever broken. "Everything has value," she says. "Even the imperfect, even the worn." The old ways taught us not to waste, not to discard what can still serve. This is not about poverty. It is about respect. For materials, for effort, for time. She finishes a row, begins another. "When you waste nothing," she says, "you have everything you need." The problem is never scarcity. It is not seeing the value in what you already have. You watch her weave, each thread honored, each thread placed with care. Later, walking away, you think about what you have thrown away too quickly, what you called worthless that was simply waiting to be seen differently. The garden of stones, a Zen garden, perfectly raked gravel, 15 stones arranged in patterns that seem both random and intentional. A young monk rakes, the same movements, over and over, creating perfect lines in the gravel. "How long have you been doing this?" you ask. 3 years, he says. "Every morning, the same task. Does it not become boring?" He stops, leans on the rake. "At first, yes. I wanted to do important things. Teach, study philosophy. But my master said, first master the rake. Learn to do one simple thing with complete attention. Then you can do anything." He kneels, adjusts a stone, stands, rakes again. "Repetition is not punishment," he says. "It is the path to mastery. Each time I rake, I notice something new. The weight of the rake, the sound of the gravel, the pattern of my breathing. I am not doing the same thing over and over. I am going deeper into one thing." He gestures to the garden. Through simple practice, complicated problems become simple. The body learns. The mind becomes quiet. And one day, you realize, you are not trying anymore. You are simply doing. And it is perfect. You bow. Leave him to his raking. You think about the things you abandoned too quickly, never giving them time to teach you their depths. The village square. The village square is spotless. Not a leaf out of place. Not a stone unwashed. Everything in order. Everything clear. An elderly man sweeps. Not because it is dirty, but because this is what he does. "You keep it very clean," you say. He nods. Cleanliness is not about appearance. It is about clarity. When the outside is ordered, the inside becomes ordered too. When there is no clutter, there is no confusion. He sweeps a corner, empties the dustpan. "I do this every morning," he says. "Not because the village gets dirty every night, but because the practice of creating order creates a mind that can think clearly. People come to the square to talk, to decide things, to solve problems. When the space is clear, their minds become clear. He leans the broom against the well. Your life is the same. Clear the clutter. Create order. Not to be perfect, but to make space for what matters. You look around the square. Feel how calm it is. How easy to breathe. That night, you clean your small room at the inn. Put everything in its place. And yes, your mind does feel clearer. Order, you realize, is a form of kindness to your future self. The village council. Problem has emerged. The bridge needs repair. But there is disagreement about how to do it. Whose method to use. Who should pay. You watch the discussion. It is not like arguments you have seen. There is no shouting. No interrupting. Instead, each person speaks. Explains their view. Then sits down. Others listen. Then share what they have heard. Confirm they understand. Then add their thoughts. The village elder facilitates. Tell us your concern, she says to one man. Then to another, what information do you have? Then to a third, who else should we consult? Slowly, through sharing, through reporting, through consulting, the shape of a solution emerges. No one person decided, but everyone contributed. And because everyone was heard, everyone agrees. This is how we work here, the elder tells you later. We share what we know. We report what we see. We consult before we act. Not because we are slow, but because problems are rarely one person's to solve. Information held close creates confusion. Information shared creates clarity. You nod. Think about all the times you tried to solve everything alone. Perhaps the path through a problem is not individual brilliance. Perhaps it is collective wisdom, shared openly. The storm. That night, a storm comes. Rain like hammers on the roof. Wind that bends the trees. Thunder that shakes the walls. You cannot sleep. You pace. Worry about the road ahead. About the bridges. About the dangers. In the morning, the storm has passed. You step outside. The village is changed. A tree has fallen. A roof has lost tiles. The stream has risen. But the villagers are already working. Clearing the tree. Repairing the roof. Reinforcing the banks. An old farmer sees you. Bad night, he says. Yes, destructive. He shakes his head. Also useful. The storm cleared the dead branches. Washed away the weaknesses. Now we know what needs strengthening. The ground beneath us is firmer now. Packed down by rain. He picks up a fallen branch. Adds it to a pile for firewood. We have a saying, he says. After the rain, the ground hardens. Hardship is not the enemy. It shows us what is weak so we can make it strong. Tests us so we know what we are made of. Without storms, we would never know where the cracks are. You help them work. And yes, the work feels purposeful. Clarifying. By evening, the village is stronger than before. You realize, problems are not always obstacles. Sometimes they are renovations. The full barn. You pass a farm where the barn is full, overflowing, grain spilling out the doors. The farmer stands outside, looking troubled. Too much harvest? You ask. Yes and no, he says. Good harvest. But I keep growing, keep storing, keep accumulating. Now I have more than I need. It weighs on me. The responsibility of it, the worry of protecting it. He sits on a fence. My father told me once, know when enough is enough. Keep growing past enough and you no longer own your abundance. It owns you. He looks at the barn. I will give half away, to neighbors who need it. Then I will know peace again. You walk with him as he loads carts, delivers grain to families who bow deeply, grateful. See, he says, now it is not a burden. It is a gift, and I have exactly enough. You think about your own life, the ways you accumulate, the ways you hold on, fearing scarcity, creating excess. Perhaps the problem is not having too little. Perhaps it is forgetting when you have enough. The circle in the sand. On a beach where the river meets the sea, you find a monk. He draws a circle in the sand with a stick. One continuous line. No beginning, no end. You watch him. He draws it, steps back, watches the tide come in, erase it, then he draws it again. Why do you draw what will be erased? You ask. He looks at you. His face is kind. Why does the sun rise, knowing it will set? You sit beside him, watch him draw, again and again, circle after circle, each one perfect, each one temporary. This circle represents everything, he says. Fullness and emptiness, presence and absence, the moment of creation and the moment of ending, both complete, both necessary. Another wave, another erasure, another circle begun. Problems exist because we think we can hold on to things, he says. Hold on to success, hold on to certainty, hold on to answers. But everything is like this circle, present then gone, beautiful then erased. The wisdom is not in grasping. It is in drawing anyway, in being present for the moment of creation, knowing it will not last. You pick up a stick, draw your own circle, imperfect, wobbly, but complete. The tide takes it. You smile. For the first time in a long time, you understand. Letting go is not losing. It is participating in the truth of things. The last village. You come to the last village on your journey. It is evening. Lanterns are being lit, one by one. Golden light spreading through the streets. You are different now. Lighter, clearer. The problems you carried when you began have not disappeared, but they have transformed, become softer, more manageable. An old woman sits on a bench. You recognize something in her face. Wisdom, peace. You sit beside her. You have learned, she says. Not a question, an observation. Yes, you say, but I am not sure I can remember it all. She smiles. You do not need to remember. You need to live. The lessons are not in your head now. They are in your hands, in your breath, in the way you will walk tomorrow. A child runs past, laughing, chasing fireflies. Problems will come again, she says. They always do, but you know now. They are not monsters to fight. They are teachers to sit with. Some need small, steady steps. Some need stillness and reflection. Some need purpose to guide them. Some need the wisdom of others. Some need the patience of repetition. Some need acceptance of imperfection. She stands, slowly, like a tree growing from the earth. The path you walked, she says, you will walk again and again. Each time you will see something new. This is the way, not to arrive somewhere final, but to return to the beginning with deeper eyes. She bows, walks into the lantern light, disappears. You sit alone, feel the evening air, cool and gentle. Closing, the journey ends, or begins. It is hard to say. You find yourself back where you started. Or perhaps you never left. Perhaps it was all a dream, a story, a teaching. But something has changed. Your breathing is slower now, your jaw unclenched. The weight you carried has become lighter, not because you solved everything, but because you understood something more important. Problems are not walls. They are doorways, each one asking you to learn, to grow, to see differently. You do not need to force solutions. You need to soften, to pause, to listen, to trust that clarity comes not from straining, but from settling. The old ways knew this. The monks, the farmers, the craftsmen, the poets. They knew that problems dissolve when approached with patience, with wisdom, with the understanding that everything is temporary. Everything is teaching. So rest now. Let your body sink into softness. Let your mind release its grip. The problems will be there tomorrow, or they will not. Either way, you are enough to meet them. The path is always here, waiting, quiet, welcoming you back whenever you need it. Small steps, steady hands, soft eyes, open heart. This is how problems dissolve. Like mist in morning sun, like ink in water, like footprints on a beach. Sleep now. Dream of cherry blossoms, of mountain paths, of tea houses and stone gardens. Dream of wisdom that asks nothing of you except to be present, to be gentle, to be yourself. The problems can wait. For now, there is only this: the breath, the stillness, the peace of knowing you do not need to carry everything alone. The moon rises over the mountain. The temple bell rings once. Then silence. Rest deeply, completely. The path will be here when you wake. But for now, let sleep take you. Soft as petals falling, light as breath on water, safe as a traveler finally home. Good night. The lanterns fade. The story ends. And in the gentle dark, there is only peace.